Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It is a new day. It is July 21st, so the day after that last video you just saw. I am just currently doing another log for Ed at Xtreme Racing. This should be the final revision. It was just flashed onto the car. I'm going to do obviously this cold start, a little bit of an idle, and some just normal driving, and then some stuff later. But off to get a oil change, and yeah, cheers. Alright guys, today is a new day. It is July 22nd. Sorry, the clip that you just saw was from yesterday, July 21st. There was just too much in my mind. I'm just super exhausted right now, so I just didn't really bother with filming. I just wanted to focus on getting the car 100% dialed, and then I will obviously push on to making this video. Today I still have to do 2 final more logs for Ed, and then the car is 100% done. What I am going to do now before I go out is calibrate my AFR sensor from Innovate Motorsports. I'm going to unplug it from the downpipe, just turn the ignition on the car, and that will clear the, calibrate the sensor, then plug it back in and it'll be good to go. I also just want to check the oil, check the coolant, and check my catch can. It's doing like hard pulls, is, you know, whatever, steadiness or whatever, but I'm just going to time lapse me kind of getting everything ready, and then I will take you with me, and we will do some driving on the car. So yeah, cheers. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is just check the oil level, check the coolant, and then also check my catch can as well. I'm just going to do a little time lapse of that, and then I will reverse the car out to a flat surface, jack it up, unplug the AFR sensor, and get that all calibrated. Alright guys, sorry, hopefully you can hear me over the music in the background, construction site stuff. I obviously did everything here, and I also installed my Car Guy's Garage alternator cover again. I took it off because there's some stuff they had to be doing under this portion of the motor, but you've seen me do that a million times. I have a video on my playlist for installs on his products. But now I'm going to move the car back to a flat surface, jack it up, and we're going to get the AFR sensor taken care of. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me over the background noise. I just jacked the car up very slightly. I'm just going to get under it and unplug the AFR sensor, and then I'm going to start the car, not start it, but put it in the on position, sorry. That will calibrate the sensor in free air, and then plug it back in and wait about 30 to 60 seconds, and it will be calibrated.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Alright guys, I'm going to have to lift up the car again, put it back on the ground, go over to Canadian Tire, get a couple supplies. I don't have a big enough wrench, unfortunately, to take off the sensor, and I also don't have a O2 sensor remover or socket that will allow for the wire to be actually in the socket. So I'm gonna run over there now, grab some supplies, and I'll come back and do this. Probably have to let the car cool down a little bit because it's gonna be hot, but such is life. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me with the background noise. Mind the stuff in the corner, I fill up the washer fluid and I overfilled it a little bit, so it's just like leaking, I guess. I'm wearing 2 pairs of gloves right now because the car was just driven and it's hot, but I do want to get this done so I can move on with the day. I bought bigger sized adjustable wrenches. The biggest I had was a 5/8, so I needed something definitely a bit bigger, maybe a 3/4 or a bit bigger. So I'm going to remove the AFR sensor from the downpipe. I'm going to turn on the ignition. I'm going to go in the car, and it's going to do its sequence. Leave it for about 30 seconds, turn the power off, plug the O2 sensor back in, and then we're going to turn on the car as normal, and it will be calibrated. Alright guys, if you can see properly, let me just zoom in a little bit.
It's kind of hard to see. You can see the O2, or sorry, the AFR sensor dangling. It's unplugged from the downpipe. I'm going to turn on the ignition. It's going to do its process, and then I'm going to plug it back in, and we will be good to go. All right, guys. So what the sensor does is it does this whole gauge sweep from green to red, and then it says an error. What you do is you leave it on for 30 seconds. That will clear, and then we'll go to the max AFR, which is 22.4. That means the thing is set. You can now power down the car. And now what I'm going to do is put the sensor back into the downpipe and start the car. What it's going to do is it's going to do that sweep again, and it'll display HTR, which is heating up. After about 30 to 60 seconds after that, it'll say calibrate, and there we go.
Artlist.io.
Alright guys, I got the AFR sensor plugged back into the downpipe. It's just a little tight and awkward in there, but she's in. I'm going to now start the car and just watch the whole boot sequence. I won't really need to record it, but then we will push on with the rest of the video. Alright guys, scrap that. I ended up doing the calibration process incorrectly. You need to obviously take the AFR sensor out of the downpipe, but also disconnect it from the actual harness. The harness is tucked in the engine bay, so I'm just going to remove the clip from the harness, repeat the process, and that'll be good. So I'll just let you see me struggle trying to remove the harness that is in the firewall. Alright guys, here is the connection for the O2 sensor down there on the downpipe. I disconnected it from the harness, which obviously goes to the firewall. Thank God this was here, not on the other side, but that's disconnected. I need to take out the sensor from the downpipe again, repeat the process, and yeah, that's it.
Music licensing reimagined.
Alright boys, we got the sensor calibrated. Bit of a process, but that's okay. AFRs are solid. It's at 14.6, 14.7 at idle, which is exactly where you want it. That's a nice healthy number. I just need to monitor that now when I do a pull. It should be in the mid 11s, I believe, when you're in the high end of a pull. But I'm happy that that is at a nice range on an idle. So that's solid. That's good on Ed at Xtreme Racing Tuning for getting the AFRs. Super nice, but I now will monitor that when a pull, and I also data log it to my computer. Alright guys, one final thing I did off camera was add a bit of this edge trim to the inside of the bumper where the front mount intercooler is and the oil cooler. Just stripped it all the way up here. I'm gonna take off the bumper later. I have some other stuff to do, and I gotta cut out this a little bit more as it's just touching the oil cooler ever so slightly. Then I'll wrap it in this stuff again, but definitely cleans up the edge. I used Sharpie to obviously make a clean line, and then I tried to use IPA to get rid of the Sharpie, and it was there. So some bits that I had cut a little bit less than the Sharpie line, you could see it, so that just bothered me. So this makes it look a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, and it's black, so it kind of blends in. These bolts for my front lip, I need to cut down lower tubes. You can still see them, and obviously I have to put the skid plate back on, but that's all stuff I need to do later. We're gonna go for a drive now. I'm gonna bring you guys with me, and then mount you in the window so you can hear hopefully some turbo spool induction noises and the wastegate done. All right guys, hopefully you can hear me and see me. I am going to just do a couple logs for Ed. I got the AFR sensor all figured out. At idle, it's around 14.6 to maybe like 14.8, which is nice and healthy. I just have to see when I get into boost where it's at. He wants it to be around mid 11s. The car is up to operating temp in terms of oil and oil pressure as well. So I I will get into boost just a little bit in a second. Use this. I'm just gonna turn the sound off. Yeah, I will get into boost in a sec, just a little bit. I'm curious to see what it's going to do air-fuel ratio wise, but yeah, hope you guys can hear the Cobb SF, the nice little AVO TD05 18G turbo, and the internal wastegate going into the 3-inch catted turbo back exhaust. Again, the car does have TGV deletes, EGR deletes, oil cooler, you name it. It's got the works. So yeah, it's fun to drive. I am at 5 to 5.5 pounds of boost. I wanted to keep it low for the time being. I do have a Vibrant Performance manual boost controller, so I can up the boost instead of going off the wastegate, but right now I would like to keep it relatively low for the time being, but in the future that can always change. So give me a sec and we'll just do a little get a little bit into boost. Just a little second gear tip in. Third gear tip in. Good. So I'll have to do that again to kind of watch the air-fuel ratio, but seem to be pretty good in my mind. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me in the car. We're just about to go onto an on-ramp. The oil pressure is good, AFRs are good right now, and the oil temperature. It's gonna do maybe a second gear tip in, third gear tip in for you guys, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Here we go, guys. Guys, we'll do a little third gear pull. The oil temp is kind of where I like it right now for not pull, but just a little tip in. Same with the oil pressure. I'll do 50% throttle. Oh, good. Looks good. Ed at Xtreme Racing Tuning has done a really nice job. Car feels great at 5.5 pounds of boost. Alright guys, don't worry, the hood is just up just to cool off. I am done with everything with Ed. I sent him the data. He's going to get back to me about 10 to 15 minutes to review it. The car should be 100% done now. All he has to do is make the virtual dynographs, so we will see what the car officially makes. It was a bit of a colder evening, so it was a good time to be doing data logs. Anyways, I will show you guys that information later tonight, but yeah, thanks guys. Alright guys, I just got home from another long day of tuning with Ed at Xtreme Racing, but the car feels amazing, super dialed in. He sent me all the data, so I can go over that just after this, but yeah, I just wanted to show you all how much time and effort this entire process takes. But again, huge shout out to Ed for being with me over the past couple of days and getting everything sorted out. So yeah, I will show you guys the data, then wrap up the video. Cheers guys. Alright guys, so in this graph you can see the wheel horsepower and torque figures that the Crosstrek with the AVO turbo kit made. So I made 205 wheel horsepower and 190 wheel torque. The car currently has the Stage 1 kit with a Deechworks 300C fuel pump, WRX 565cc injectors, a Cobb SF intake, MAP Performance BRZ oil cooler, an oil catch can, a 3-inch catted turbo back exhaust, a TGV delete with the dividers taken out of the block, EGR delete, an FA20 water pump pulley and belt. The car is also tuned on 94 octane and it is a 5-speed manual. The below figures are what the car makes from factory at the wheels, so 122 and 100 and something torque. Alright guys, here is a better look of the power figures on its own. I am going to put the car back on the hub dyno, at Toge Tuning that I've brought the car to twice before, and I do have videos on that. But yeah, it is a really, really nice gain over stock. You can definitely feel it, and the car is making around 262.4 wheel horsepower at the crank, which is just under a new FA20 WRX. In this graph, I am showing that the car is running about 5 to 5.5 pounds of boost. I did want to keep it on the low side, but that will be all, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.